seeing as we're cooking two genuine Gibraltarian classics, we thought we'd visit a local institution that's been filling Gibraltarian bellies for generations. They're also experts at making torta de acelga on an industrial scale.
I'll tell you a bit about how it all started. 1946, my dad's grandfather bought the lease of the place. He started off with a cafeteria, was then known as Gibraltar Restaurant, now known as Gibraltar Confectionery. It's gone down all the generations after my dad's grandfather was taken on by my great aunt, my dad's auntie. She was single, never had any kids, so then she passed it on to her nieces and nephews, one of them being my dad. So it's gone down quite a few years. Next year's the 70th anniversary. Gibraltarians, I'd say, are creatures of habit in general. They are up for trying new things, but there's some things that we'll never get tired of. Torta de acelga being one of them. A tuna egg mayo roll, milhojas, japonesas. They're just like, I think they'll just go on forever, or as long as we keep producing them at least. The torta de acelga is like on our daily menu. It never leaves the menu. We've got two versions of it. We've got the crust and without the crust. Without the crust one we started doing probably about 10 years ago because there's so many people that want gluten-free. We make it en masse. The amount of eggs, just so that you have a general idea of the amount we produce at a time, is about 120 eggs for the mixture. So that's just in eggs. And then there's like kilos of spinach. Spinach has to be dried. Then it has to be finely cut. And then there's all sorts of herbs and spices that go into it, grated cheese. We don't have any breadcrumbs in ours. A lot of people actually ask us, does it have breads, does it not? I don't know if it's diets or the gluten intolerance. We make like between 4 and 6 torta de acelgas on a daily basis just for the counter, and then there's orders that people make, and we also include it in our tray of canapes. And then Easter is like a different ball game. Easter's like everyone has torta de acelga at home. I mean, I've tried all sorts of torta de acelgas. I tend to try it because I like to compare it to ours. I've tasted torta de acelga that I don't think is that great. I've tasted torta de acelga that I absolutely love. I think it's more of like a taste that makes you feel at home more than just about the ingredients. I think you taste it and you just think of being at home, surrounded by family, at a table, and good times. It's not just about what you're eating, because really there isn't that much to a spinach pie. But I think everyone thinks that their parents or their mum's torta de acelga is probably the best one, and for them it probably is. Torta de acelga, I think, for Gibraltarian is just home.
So now that your spinach pie is in the oven, the next thing we're going to prepare is the torta de patata. This is going to be a very quick, very simple dish. So the first thing we need to do to start off before chopping anything up is get a nice deep frying pan, nice large one, not too big, but enough so that you get nice thick torta patata. So we're going to fill this up with about 500 milliliters of oil. It's going to be enough oil because what you need to do is fry the potatoes in there first. So, and don't worry, because olive oil anyway is reusable. Once it cools down, we'll just put this in a cup and you can use it anytime you want. Once you fill up your nice frying pan with oil, we'll just take this over to the hob and heat this up. So now that your frying pan is on the hob, we need to chop up our potatoes. So just bring your potatoes in front of you. I'm going to use sweet potatoes because they are sweeter, they're healthier, a nice alternative to your regular potatoes. And what we're going to do is chop these down to about 1 centimeter wide. Be careful because sweet potatoes can be a bit harder to chop. They're a bit firmer than your regular potatoes. And then we're going to cube them up. Just put them on top of each other, chop down and into strips, and then across. So we get nice little cubes that we can fry up. Once your sweet potatoes are all chopped up, we need to season them with a bit of salt. So just pour some salt over your potatoes and put these to fry in your frying pan. So your potatoes are frying. What we need to do now is whisk our eggs. So I think for about 2 sweet potatoes, we need about 6 eggs, and that should be enough to feed maybe about 4 people, 5 people, because you get a nice, large, thick torta patata. So we'll crack our eggs in there. Do it carefully so that you don't get any eggshells in there. Like that. And we'll leave these there until our potatoes fry and soften. And what we're going to do once that's done is carefully drain our potatoes out of the pan and put them in with our eggs, but we can mix it all together before putting back in our frying pan. Okay, so this is looking ready. We'll mix it up with our eggs. So we'll place this carefully there, not to burn yourself. Now slowly drain the oil from the potatoes as you pour it in with your egg. And the point here is to mix up the potatoes with the egg so that the egg starts to slowly cook a bit. Now the sweet potato, when you fry it, unlike normal potatoes, don't quite harden and burn. They will just soften. So once you've emptied out all the potatoes and mixed it with your egg, just give your eggs a good stir, mix everything together, and leave. What we're going to do is get a jug and pour all the excess oil in there. And it's going to be extremely hot, so don't burn yourself. Now I like to leave a bit of oil on the bottom. So I'll pour a bit back in. That way we can make sure that there's a bit there not to burn any of the torta patata when you add it in there. So we'll put this back on the pan so it heats up, and we'll pour our egg mixture in there. We'll put our frying pan back on the heat, let our oil heat up a bit. So we'll carefully pour in our sweet potatoes and our eggs, and we'll shake it up a bit so that it's all evenly spread out. And what we're going to do is leave this there until it starts to cook. You see the sides start to harden a little bit and it all gets shaped. So we need to get a big plate when that's ready to tip it over. So just leave this to the side for the moment and let that cook. So when you can see that all the sides have started to harden, just get your big plate, place it over, and all you have to do is lift up, flip it over. And now you have all this there. So you can see that it's all hard and underneath it's going to be all soft. It's very easy to do now. What you have to do now is carefully slide it in and drop it and shake your pan a bit to make sure that it gets the shape. So once you put it in, just shake your pan so that your torta patata keeps the round shape, and now we cook underneath until it's all nice and ready. This should take about 5 minutes or so. So this is ready, and we'll do the final flip. So again, we'll place our plate over, get a plate that's bigger than your pan, and carefully flip it over, just like that, and there you have it. Your nice finished torta patata. This is our finished torta de acelga. So your torta patata should be moist, it's finished. It can be runny. If you like it a bit runny, just cook it for a bit less time, but it's eggy and it's solid and it's whole and it's perfect to serve, hot or cold. Torta de acelga will just cut into this halfway down. You see it's all puffy from the puff pastry. Careful because the dish is going to be very hot. This should be all nice and moist but not too wet. As you see, the egg is already boil there in the middle, and we'll just serve this down here. Perfect. If you want to try these or other delicious local recipes, check out Mama Lottie's cookbook for dozens of Gibraltarian dishes, or visit the Mama Lottie's website, mamalotties.com. Don't forget to join us next week for another selection of yummy local recipes.